So let's call it out. Our first guest speaker for Francis Talk, who is going to share about work and life in the Dolomites. Parents and friends, please give a warm welcome for
Mr. David Tameeris.
Thank you. Wow, it's been really amazing, inspiring talk so far. I'm really impressed by the students that you have in Francis. They're really, really talented students. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. I was supposed to go to backstage to practice, but I couldn't help but keep watching. And I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I do. Okay, but anyways, I'll get on with my presentation. So, hi everyone. I'm David. I'm a third-year student in Singapore Management University. I'm studying politics, law, and economics with a second degree in finance. But either way, today I'm here to tell you about a story of what I did this summer when I got chased out of the woods in the mountains of Italy. It was the scariest moment of my life. I was being chased by a deer, actually. But, spoiler alert, but, okay. Needless to say, before I go on to that story, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm David. I used to run track and field. I'm an old man now. I keep getting injured, so not anymore. I like to go do any sports. I like diving. I just went on a diving trip. I love Marvel as well. It's me cosplaying as Fat Thor. And I love anime as well. Actually, my biggest accomplishment in SMU so far has been writing an essay on Attack on Titan, my favorite anime. For an essay on war and peace, comparing the peace resolutions in Attack on Titan to peace resolutions for Ukraine. Could we go to the next slide? And somehow I found myself here today in Francis Talk, here in Tangerang. I don't really know, maybe you're thinking, what is this bule doing here? But yeah. But I like to think is because of what I've accomplished so far, I've been very, very fortunate with success in my career and my academics. It's accumulated in me getting 2 job offers already from prestigious consulting firms by the time I'm entering my 3rd year in university. One of them even asked me to go to India for 6 months to help set up the new office there. But I looked at my boss, like, I have school. I can't just go for 6 months. But yeah, so I found I've been very fortunate to be successful, but I've been feeling quite unfulfilled. In my past internship, my last internship, I was working on the production of alternative fuels for the maritime industry in Singapore. And it was really great work. It was really meaningful to help decarbonize one of the world's most polluting industries. And I was very proud of the work that we did. But there was this trepid voice at the back of my head, like telling me that there's so much more to life than this, than sitting in front of a desk, in front of making slides all day so that a rich company can get even richer. And then my favorite part of the day being when I get to go home at like 8, 9, 10 p.m. just to come back the next day at 8 a.m. It wasn't really a meaningful life to me. And so because of that, I wanted to take a break. And I took this summer off to go travel, to go experience the world, to go roam around the world, to wander and get lost. Because I think I was hoping if I could get lost in the world, maybe I would find myself somewhere. Could we go to the next slide? Yeah. And so this led me to look online, of course, as all kids do these days, for opportunities. I'm a student. I don't have that much money. So I was looking for ways to travel cheaply. And that's when I stumbled upon this community, an amazing travel community. It's called Workaway. It's a platform for work exchanges. Sorry, you can't really see the text at the bottom. But so families and businesses, they provide free accommodation and free food, basically take care of your living. And in exchange, you just have to work. It could be menial tasks like gardening or helping them with their farm or maybe even teaching their kids whatever language you know. Maybe it's Bahasa, or maybe some of you know German. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a really great opportunity for you to find very unique experiences in this world. Could we go to the next slide? I just wanted to share with you a few opportunities on Workaway. Sorry, could we go to the next slide? So one of them, I found this yesterday. I made these slides yesterday, actually. It was quite last minute. But it's helping out a school in Kenya, teaching the students, helping them to build new buildings in the school. It's really amazing opportunity. And can we go to the next one? And the next one, alpaca farming. I really like this one, but I was afraid that alpacas would spit on me. So I decided not to do it. The next one should be sailing, if I'm not wrong. The next slide. Sailing that was something I really wanted to do ever since I watched Life of Pi, without the tiger, of course. But then I realized I don't know how to sail at all, and I wasn't looking to die this summer, so I decided not to do this. And the next one. So these are just examples of what you can find on Workaway. This was my favorite by far, horse training in the mountains of Hungary. Oh my God, it's so crazy. And so I told my mom, actually, that this is what I want to do. I want to go train horses in Hungary. And then she asked me one question that just threw everything out of the water. She asked, so what exactly do you know about horses? And then that's when I realized I don't know anything except if you put a horn on a horse, it becomes a unicorn. If you give it wings, it becomes a Pegasus. If you put a horn and wings, maybe it becomes a Pegacorn or something. Yeah. So that plan went out the window, and I stumbled upon the next opportunity in the next slide, which was this small little humble mountain hut nestled in the mountains of Italy. It's called the Dolomites. And they're called a refugio. You can see it's like this little tiny hut over here, surrounded by such an amazing landscape. And they basically provide a refuge for hikers traversing across the Dolomites on their hikes. They basically hike from hut to hut over the day, and then they rest at the huts at night. And it's an amazing place to meet a lot of people, a lot of people on their journeys of life. Yeah, and meeting wonderful people as well. So could we go to the next slide? And so it was such a good idea that it was free food and free accommodation in Italy, like free Italian food. Can't believe it. And so I loved this idea, and I told my mom about my idea, and my mom loved it so much that she wanted to join me too. Yay, you know. My brother as well. So I mean, it's not bad. I like a family trip. But so we set off on our adventure to Italy, and an adventure it truly was. My brother and I barely survived a 12 km hike up a mountain, and I really mean barely survived. That's me using my hands to climb up because it was just way too treacherous to use my feet. There was once my brother and I also got lost on a hike, and it started to rain, and we had to hitchhike back to the town. And then I also spent almost every single day running through the woods with the dog of the mountain hut. And his name is Sole, after sun in Italy. Yeah. And could we go to the next slide? And it's also meeting a lot of new people, meeting a lot of adventurers, eating good Italian food is so good. Cleaning my dishes, of course, is a work exchange. I have to do my part. And sleeping in hammocks, that was my favorite part, actually. And stargazing at night with my mom in a field of fireflies. It was really beautiful. But my favorite of all is not on this slide. It was what I mentioned earlier, was when I went into the mountains at night. And I got chased by a deer out of the mountains. I was so scared. It probably chased me for like 2 seconds, but I couldn't turn back. I just kept on running. Yeah. Okay, can we go to the next slide? And so all these experiences that I've had over the summer, as well as other trips I did, I climbed Mount Marabu with my friends, went on my diving trip, volunteered with special needs kids. All of these really gave me a new perspective on work and life that reinvigorated my sense of purpose when I came back to Singapore. And these are the lessons that I want to share with you today. If we could go to the next slide. So the first lesson that I wanted to share was that travel does not need to be expensive. Can we go to the next slide, please? So other than Workaway, there are plenty of other work exchange sites available for you, your kids, anyone out there. So there's Worldpackers if you want to do a short-term stay, 1 or 2 days instead of Workaway, which is like 1 to 2 weeks instead. There's International Volunteer HQ for volunteer abroad programs, if that's more of your thing. And then there's Projects Abroad, which is especially catered towards students. You could even take a gap year, they organize that for you. And all of these platforms offer a lot of unique opportunities to go on these amazing adventures. These once-in-a-lifetime experiences that I really heavily encourage you to consider. And exactly why you should consider is my next point, which is why you should travel, on the next slide, which is that you should travel for self-discovery. Can we go to the next slide, sorry. And so, I realize travel can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. You know, for the students out there, it may mean you gotta escape work, escape your homework for a week maybe. For parents, maybe you want to escape the kids. I don't know. It can also mean business or learning a new language, immersing yourself in a different culture. But what I've learned is that it is an amazing opportunity to go on an adventure, a real adventure. And could we go to the next slide? So an adventure can mean many things. It could be hiking through a mountain, sailing across the seas, swim too if you want, maybe get life insurance if you're going to do that, but yeah. Or it could just mean like going around the city. But for me, my adventure was hiking in the Dolomites. as I said, that was my 12 km hike up with my brother. If we slipped down the side, we would have just we would have just fallen down the side of the mountain. It was really scary. It's probably not going to be that bad, but it was a lot scarier when it was happening. There were times where the landscape was amazing, but it could turn from a really lovely hike to quite a dangerous one in a few minutes. So there was once I was hiking with my mom, and then the trails got really narrow, and then we got to the edge of the mountain. And so then I had to hold her hand and slowly guide her along the hike, make sure that she's doing okay and she's not scared as we went along the hike. And there was another time where a tree just fell down on a path ahead of us, and we couldn't go around it. So my brother and I had to literally climb through the branches of the tree to make it to the other side. Yeah, could we go to the next slide, please? And so ultimately, all of these adventures that I go through and that we all go through on these travels, they are meant to bring you discomfort and risk. They're meant to push you out of your comfort zone. But they also bring a lot of wonder and bewilderment to your life, and they create these unique experiences that you'll hold on to for the rest of your life. And they do that because they gift you with new perspectives on life, on the challenges that you face. Could we go to the next slide, please? So there were many challenges that we faced along the hike. You know, the fallen branches, holes in the trail. My brother and I literally had to jump over a hole at one point. And all of these challenges that you face along your adventure, they reflect how you approach these challenges when you come back to your normal lives. You know, so for example, let's say you're like me and you're halfway across your trek, and you look up, you can't even see the peak in sight, but you're so tired, you're so knackered, and all you want to do is just stop the hike, you know? Why do you even go hiking in the first place? But who you are in that moment really reflects your character, and it gives you an opportunity for growth. And you could just go back. You just turn around, go back home, sleep in your bed. Or do you force yourself to push through, make sure that you stay unrelenting, and stick to the plan and go to the top of the mountain? Or do you rest, recruit, recover, strategize? Maybe you want to take a snack break, a few snack breaks, take a water break, have another break, I don't know, have a Kit Kat, whatever you want to do. So, but anyways, these challenges, in the next slide, please. These challenges, these adventures will give you with these challenges that you can use to push your boundaries, your physiological, your psychological, your physical boundaries, and you'll come back a different person. Sorry, could we go to the next slide? Yeah, and you can have transformative experiences. You know, sometimes these adventures, they might scare you, they might terrify you, they might amaze you, they might wonder you, but I truly believe that if you let it, it might change you as well. And could we go to the next slide? And so now I want to go to how it changed me, how I came back with newfound confidence, newfound inspiration for my work and my life, and which is to figure out where I'm going. Could we go to the next slide, please? So I had a lot of time alone in the mountains at night. The sun set at like 9-10 p.m. And so I could go out into the woods on my own until I got chased out by a deer. Or until I got too scared and I thought I was going to get chased out by a deer, so I left before that. But it gave me a lot of time to think, to ponder about life and the life that I want to live. And what I realized was that unlike when I was going on a hike or going on an adventure through the city, I lacked a destination that I was working towards. I lacked somewhere that I was going, a sense of direction. And it made my work just going through the motions. I didn't really know what was the purpose that I was doing this for. You know, I still made sure I did my work, but there was no real motivation behind it. And it's culminated in my previous firm, actually, the partner, the big boss, he asked me a question one day. He said, well, what's your plan after this? Like, what are your career goals? And I looked at him, and I was trying to think of one, but I couldn't think of one, so I told him honestly, I don't really have a career goal at the moment. All I want to do when I'm older is, I just know that I just want to start a family when I'm older. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Living a simple life is a very good life. But it made me just not have a sense of direction and made me lose motivation easily in my work. And it left me feeling unfulfilled as I did. And so what I realized is that you have to give your own meaning to your work. And you do that by attaching it to a greater purpose. You know, whatever that may be. You know, maybe you love music. You can surround yourself with music for the rest of your life and you'll never get bored. Or you love it even more. Or maybe you're born, you just love technology. You want to innovate. You want to create a new invention. Whatever it is that you want to do. Could we go to the next slide? Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, never mind. whatever it is you want to do. Finding that purpose, finding what you want to do will help you to align all your challenges, all your difficulties, all the times where you're questioning why you're even doing this, and it'll help you keep pushing on. And I think that's something that's really special. And I feel that adventure travel will give you new perspectives and ideas on how you can live this meaningful life, how you can find this purpose, and how you can apply it to your daily lives. So for example, let's say you love music, like just now. Maybe go to Australia, Africa, and go volunteer for a project with Aboriginals. Learn the music that keeps them dancing all night. Or maybe go to Amazon and surround yourself in the symphony of nature. Maybe you'll come back with new ideas of music that you've never known that you could do. Or maybe you love technology. Go help to build a school in Africa or something. Or somewhere in Asia if you want to stay closer to home. Or build a water irrigation system for someone who's doing subsistence farming. Push yourself on these adventures. Because when you go on these adventures and you face challenges that you would never face in your normal lives, you learn that when you come back, after you face these challenges, what else can you take on? Nothing else really scares you. Let's say you have a math test you haven't studied for, but you've climbed through a tree to get to the other side of your track. Okay, it's not really a good example. Maybe you climb a whole mountain. That's a better example. But it teaches you that you can face all of these challenges with all the might and vigor that you have. And so I implore you, I encourage you, I beg you to go and adventure, to go and travel and experience life and all of its wonders. Because you never know, Maybe being chased by a deer is exactly what you need. Thank you.